The rise of mommy bloggers and child influencers has become a defining feature of modern social media culture, intertwining personal storytelling with commercial enterprise. For years, these digital entrepreneurs have carved out lucrative careers by sharing their lives, and often the lives of their children, with millions of followers online. However, this seemingly innocuous trend took a darker turn in Utah, where one high-profile case forced the state to reevaluate its approach to regulating content created by families for profit. At the center of this controversy was Ruby Franke, a popular mommy blogger whose alleged abuse of her children not only shocked her audience but also prompted lawmakers to reconsider how much power should be granted to parents who monetize their family's image. Ruby Franke first gained prominence through her blog and YouTube channel, 8 Passengers, which chronicled her life as a mother raising 6 children alongside her husband. Her content ranged from parenting tips and homemaking advice to vlogs showcasing everyday moments with her kids. Over time, Franke amassed a massive following, turning her platform into a profitable business. She collaborated with brands, sold merchandise, and even published books, all while presenting herself as an authority on family values and wholesome living. To her fans, she appeared to embody the ideal of a devoted mother balancing work and home life seamlessly. However, cracks began to appear in Franke's carefully curated persona when allegations of abuse surfaced. In 2019, reports emerged that 2 of her children had fled their home due to what they described as neglectful and abusive conditions. These accusations were bolstered by disturbing details shared publicly, including claims of extreme physical punishment, emotional manipulation, and forced labor imposed upon the children. The contrast between Franke's polished online presence and the grim reality alleged by her children left many viewers grappling with feelings of betrayal and disbelief. As news of the scandal spread, it ignited widespread outrage and raised questions about the ethics of mommy blogging and child influencer culture. Critics argued that Franke's actions highlighted deeper systemic issues within the industry, particularly regarding the exploitation of minors for financial gain. While laws exist to protect children working in traditional entertainment industries like film and television, there are fewer safeguards for those involved in digital content creation. This legal gray area allows parents to exercise significant control over their children's public personas without facing meaningful oversight or accountability. The fallout from the Ruby Franke case reverberated far beyond her immediate circle, prompting Utah legislators to take action. Lawmakers recognized the need to address gaps in existing regulations that fail to adequately shield child influencers from potential harm. One key issue identified during discussions was the disproportionate amount of power held by parents like Franke, who could essentially dictate every aspect of their children's involvement in online activities. By positioning themselves as both guardians and managers, such individuals wielded unchecked authority over their offspring's livelihoods, reputations, and well-being. In response, Utah introduced new legislation aimed at redistributing some of this power away from parental figures and toward independent entities better equipped to safeguard young participants. A notable provision included mandating third-party oversight for any content featuring minors under the age of 18. Under this rule, producers would be required to obtain approval from certified child welfare advocates before publishing videos or other materials involving children. Additionally, all earnings generated by child influencers would be placed into trust funds managed by neutral trustees until the child reached adulthood, ensuring that profits accrued fairly and transparently. Another critical component of the reform effort focused on shifting financial incentives away from mommy bloggers and toward platforms specifically designed to empower child creators directly. Traditionally, most revenue streams associated with family-oriented content flowed primarily to the adult figurehead, usually the mother, who controlled the brand and negotiated deals. By altering this dynamic, policymakers hoped to encourage more equitable arrangements wherein children retained greater ownership over their intellectual property and creative contributions. This shift sought to align economic rewards more closely with actual participation levels, thereby reducing opportunities for exploitation. While supporters praised these measures as necessary steps toward protecting vulnerable youth, critics voiced concerns about potential unintended consequences. Some argue that increased regulation might stifle creativity and discourage legitimate efforts by families genuinely seeking to share authentic experiences. Others worried about the logistical challenges of implementing oversight mechanisms effectively across diverse forms of digital media. Despite these reservations, proponents maintain that prioritizing child safety outweighed any temporary disruptions caused by regulatory changes. Beyond legislative reforms, the Ruby Franke scandal sparked broader conversations about ethical responsibilities within the influencer community. Many wondered whether audiences bore some culpability for perpetuating harmful dynamics simply by consuming questionable content uncritically. After all, demand drives supply. If viewers continue supporting channels built on exploitative practices, creators will likely persist in pursuing similar strategies. Recognizing this interplay, advocacy groups urged consumers to adopt more discerning habits when engaging with family-focused media. Simple actions like researching backgrounds, questioning motives, and reporting suspicious behavior could collectively contribute to fostering healthier online environments. Moreover, educational initiatives targeting aspiring influencers emerged as another vital piece of the puzzle. Programs teaching best practices for responsible content creation emphasize transparency, consent, and respect for boundaries, not just for adults but especially for minors involved. Such training aimed to instill foundational principles early on, helping future generations navigate the complexities of digital fame responsibly. By equipping young creators with tools to advocate for themselves and recognize red flags, educators hoped to mitigate risks inherent in exposing impressionable minds to public scrutiny prematurely. Looking ahead, the legacy of Ruby Franke serves as both cautionary tale and catalyst for change. It underscores the importance of vigilance in monitoring evolving trends within social media ecosystems, particularly concerning intersections between commerce and childhood. As technology continues advancing rapidly, so too must our frameworks for addressing emerging challenges proactively rather than reactively. Only then can we hope to strike a balance between enabling innovation and upholding fundamental human rights. Ultimately, the transformation underway in Utah reflects growing awareness around the nuanced realities behind glossy facades presented online. What initially seemed like harmless glimpses into domestic bliss turned out to mask darker truths requiring urgent attention. Through bold policy interventions and sustained dialogue, stakeholders aim to create safer spaces where genuine connection thrives alongside sustainable entrepreneurship. Whether achieved via stricter enforcement mechanisms, enhanced support networks, or cultural shifts in consumption patterns, progress hinges on collective commitment to placing children's interests above all else. In conclusion, Ruby Franke's descent from beloved mommy blogger to emblem of abuse encapsulates broader tensions surrounding contemporary digital economies reliant on familial narratives. Her story exposes vulnerabilities embedded within structures, enabling unchecked parental dominance over juvenile labor markets disguised as leisure pursuits. Yet it also inspires tangible solutions rooted in justice, compassion, and foresight. Moving forward, Utah's pioneering efforts offer valuable lessons applicable nationwide and globally, reminding us that true influence stems not merely from reach or revenue, but from responsibility exercised wisely and ethically.